Welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Christmas special episode of the Horror Friendly Podcast, part of the You Run Podcast Network. I am joined by my wonderful co-host in her new setup at the moment, Chantal.
Hi. Yeah, it's going to keep changing in the next few weeks.
Yeah, at the moment being she's permanently moved, but she may change. You know, the scenery may change. She may change us up.
It might get more spooky behind me, but we'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see. I do look like an old lady today, though, with my tartan shawl. But it's
You're just being Christmassy.
It's on theme. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this is hilarious, but we brought out a video today. We brought out Black Christmas because obviously we didn't have time to record last week, and I am literally sitting in the exact same space that I was 3 years ago. And can I please just say that I did move out? I have had a life in 3 years. I am back, but I haven't just been here for 3 years in this exact spot.
Just in that one spot. You haven't moved in 3 years.
Just want to make that clear, everyone. Thanks.
Want to make clear, I've left the house.
I have left the house, I promise. Yes, I have done things.
Those photos of us out in public are real. We didn't Photoshop them. It's hard though, because when you have your setup, it's the same space every week.
Exactly. I feel like I have recorded in different spaces, but my room is really Christmassy at the moment, so I was like, I'm trying to feel the Christmas vibe tonight, so I thought I'd record in here. So
I mean, my background's quite busy, but at least my washing isn't behind me for once.
That's true, so that's progress.
Yay. We're going up in the world.
Exactly.
But yes, was it weird seeing a 3-year version video of yourself?
It was a bit weird because I don't obviously I remember the episodes, but I don't remember like the specifics or everything, like the things that we say or like what we look like. So that was kind of weird, to be honest.
I always find it funny when because I forgot how much we must have had a conversation about packing bags for like 5-10 minutes. And I forgot how invested we were in that one particular part of the film.
Do you think we were struggling to talk about?
No, because but the house mother, I forgot how much we loved the house mother. And then I was editing it like, oh, she's such a babe. Or like the boyfriend, how much we hated him. And I was like, I completely forgot we had all these emotions.
That's so true. Also, it's a great film. Like I always, to this day, I still think it's like fucking scary.
Yeah, it is a great film. But I also think as well, because obviously people who've been around a while or people who are now going back to the archive ones are like, we've changed how we podcast. So we've changed our formula. I think for the better, but only because we never used to be able to keep a thought straight.
No, I think so. And I think also the format was that we would go through the entire film, and like while sometimes that would be good because we'd pick up on things that maybe we kind of would miss now, I just think it's so much better now because we can just kind of skip through certain bits instead of having to go through it like an audiobook.
But it is so funny, like watching episodes back and be like, oh my god, like we were we really did go break it down scene by scene. But hey, if you like that, let us know. I'm not guaranteeing we'll do it again, but we will see. However, shall we do tonight's film?
Let's do it.
I said with such confidence and then realized I had my notes open on my phone and not the description, because unfortunately, again, with the move, I don't know where my notebook is right now. So all my hair straighteners, so my hair's a mess. And so all my notes are now on my phone. But we are covering the 2016 horror comedy Better Watch Out. Ashley, a 17-year-old girl, is babysitting Luke, a 12-year-old boy, during Christmas. However, they find themselves a target of an unusual home invasion. Katie, what were your first thoughts on this one?
I didn't know much about this film. I feel like this is kind of a bit of an underrated banger. Like I don't know, when I've spoken to people about this film or like asked if anyone's kind of seen it in the horror world, like not a lot of people have kind of mentioned this one. So I feel like it's sort of gone a bit under the radar. But I have a lot of time for this film. Like it has kind of a lot of things that you want in kind of like a Christmas horror film. There's like a bit of comedy in there. There are obviously like a lot of like a lot of Christmas references and things. And there's like a bit of gore and things, so it kind of has everything that you want in there. And yeah, I thought it was great. What about you?
So I actually really enjoyed it, but I thought it was going a very different direction, and that's the point. But so even when I'd like figured out what was happening, still something then happens, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I actually texted you at one point because I was like, this film is fucked up. And it's not because it's like, oh, the gore's really fucked up, or like Cannibal Holocaust or fucked up. It's just, I think parts of it feel so real, and that makes it really, really kind of scary. Well, not even scary, just like, well, maybe scary, but like really unnerving and really like uncomfortable to watch at points. Which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be far more like slasher.
Yes. Yeah, same. Like it's interesting how like the tone of the film changes quite like swiftly. Like at first, and well, I guess the sort of like first 40 minutes it is kind of like funny, and then also has those like tongue-in-cheek sort of fun horror elements, and then it sort of like the last, I don't know, like 15 minutes it just gets really serious and kind of really fucked. And it becomes less of a comedy and more of like a, what the fuck is actually going to happen here? Like, this is kind of serious now.
But the characters are even saying that because they're like, what the fuck? Like, how does this end? Which I think feels so real. Like, and this is, I think, some of the most uncomfortable parts I actually found earlier on.
Okay.
Like, should we just dive in?
Let's do
it. So I made a few notes. We're starting off with the homophobic wife. I was like, I put homophobic wife much because like slagging off her husband because he likes Christmas decorations and ties.
You sure you've never sucked another man's cock?
I can't remember the word she called him. Metrosexual?
Yeah, I think that was what it was.
But like just being anti her husband because he's into the Christmas spirit. Like, do you know how many women would kill for their partners to be like in the Christmas spirit and want to decorate?
Spirit. Yeah, I do feel like they were purposely, well, she was purposely quite unlikable. Like they were kind of that like rich suburban sort of family that, you know, just spoiled rich family kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I broke your phone, don't worry, my mum will buy you a new one. And as you pointed out, the mum was or is Virginia Madsen. Like all tied together.
I know, it has perfectly tied together. Like we normally, you know, do point out if there's like someone that we've, you know, an actor that we've already covered on the show before, but this is like so recent as well.
Literally, last week's actual episode, because obviously Candyman. Like fucking mental. But yeah, so that was quite cool actually to see her.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Play a very different character.
Yes, and as you say, very unlikable, very
yes.
Yeah, I don't know, I just felt it was a little bit unnecessary. Like they could have had like a bit of back and forth between the husband and wife, but it didn't kind of have to go there. It didn't, I don't know, I just found that a bit weird. And then like and meanwhile upstairs her teenage son, not even a teenager, 12-year-old son,
not even a teenager,
and best mate talking about like what does he say, getting some ass with the babysitter.
yeah, that's just, oh god, gross. But at that point you kind of just think like, oh, they're just like kids not really even knowing what they're talking about, just like saying some random kind of shit and not knowing, they don't know what they mean when they say that kind of thing.
It's that, isn't it? You're like, they've heard that somewhere, or they've read it somewhere, like, but
definitely,
it's just it's just a bit like, I know it's just setting up, and at that point as well you're like, okay, so Luke's got a crush on Ashley, but at that point I'm still thinking Garrett's going to be the biggest problem in the film.
Yeah, because and I feel like you're purposely swayed that way because he seems like more of a rebel. He's kind of says it more how it is, and you think that maybe like he'll be the main kind of baddie in this, or at least someone that stirs it up a little bit, or is
Yeah.
just kind of like the idiot best friend that, because it you know, all signs were pointing it to be to just like a serial killer that comes into their house kind of vibe. So yeah.
Because when did you figure out Garrett was in on it?
Oh, sorry, it was a spider. Sorry. I got attacked by a spider.
I'm keeping that in because that's so relevant to the film.
Ricky, no, that was a joke. No, don't.
Ew.
Ew, David.
Ew, David. I'm gonna have that crawling on my face later.
Ooh.
I know, great. I don't know where it's gone. I've just flicked it off. Anyway, sorry, folks. When did I realize? To be honest, I'm not sure I did until it was revealed. I don't know if I like ever got the vibe that like Lucas was. I mean, maybe when Ashley discovers that the armed robber, the robber is Garrett,
Yeah.
you kind of think like Luke is in on something, but you don't know to what extent. So when he like hits her across the face and knocks her out, like that's quite shocking, because it's like, I thought, you know, if anything, he's just playing a prank on her, like an innocent prank. But it turns into so much more than that.
Because I think there was the bit when Garrett, like, obviously, he revealed that he was there. Oh, I'm just fucking with you guys. And then he's like supposed to be scared. And then he got shot in the garden. But that jumped to me. I was like, he looked like he threw himself on the ground. So at that point, I was like, Garrett's in on this. Garrett's the robber.
Right. Okay.
So I was kind of like, okay, Garrett's behind this. But then when Luke kept trying to like get away from Ashley and be like, oh, you know, also I was like, okay, he's trying to look tough because he knows he's not going to get shot. But I, like you say, when he slaps her and everything does a 180, that really shocked me, because I didn't think he was going to be the big bad.
No.
That was very cleverly revealed.
Really clever. And like, yeah, that's true actually. Like when there's all that kind of bit before, you do think, oh, something's going on with them. But yeah, that was such a shocking bit. She just falls down the stairs and then it kind of all kicks off from there.
Because I think Ashley says it so right, where she's just like, did you expect, like, I can't remember this, that one was like, did you expect me to fall in love with you because you protect me? Like,
What delusional infant thinks that staging a break-in is going to get you to second base?
this is really fucked up. Like, because she nearly fell out the loft. She could have died.
Yeah.
And it's just that, like, you expected me, like, because he'd already tried to kiss her. I was like, oh, why won't you kiss me? You've been drinking. And I was like, did they deliberately cast him as 12? Because if this was 2 college roommates in this story, it would have been way fucking, like, people would have been way angrier, because it wasn't a 12-year-old just fucking around.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like, I think as well, like the actor that plays Luke, Levi Miller, I think because of like the way he is as well, like he is clearly a child, but then from like kind of that moment on, he also sort of acts like a really immature adult.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
is
there's
what
something
most-
kind of creepy about him, that he can kind of like switch,
Yeah.
but then also have that like really creepy sort of serial killer vibe to him. So I think that's what kind of made it better and sort of creepier than like 2 college roommates, because he is so young and he does have that ability to just switch himself.
Yeah. No, you're right, because he'd literally go on from like talking about these really insane things to all of a sudden like, oh, that homework's due on Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get arrested in my pajamas. Like, how are you not hearing how insane what you're doing is?
Yeah. Or like when he's groping Ashley, so uncomfortable, so gross, but then obviously he gets a bit too excited and Garrett points it out, and again it switches back to that kind of like childlike mentality where it's like, yeah, he's got a boner. Like, it's like going back to that when he was trying to be all like, you know, like, oh, how did that feel for you and all of that, and she was like, well, like a little kid just felt me up. That's how it felt. It was very much like switching from one to the other, whereas Ashley was constantly just like, what the fuck are you doing? You're a child. This is embarrassing. Like constantly calling him out.
Yeah. No, she was brilliant. Like, she handled it kind of the only way you can.
Yeah.
But it was that bit where he was groping her that I was like, this is so uncomfortable to watch. I don't like. That's when I texted you. I was like, this film is fucked up. And again, it wasn't because of anything like typically in a horror slasher. It was something that could happen in the day to day. And I think that made it so fucking uncomfortable. And the fact that he's meant to be 12, but as you say, in that moment, he looks so much older.
Yeah.
And again, like a lot of teenagers do try to be like, oh no, I know, because he says it. He's like, oh, I can outsmart it. I know the ending. Like they think they know how things are gonna go.
Yeah, they think they know so much more than they actually do. Like they think they've got this like Luke has this whole thing, like his whole mentality is like, I'll get away with this. Like it's not even optional that I won't get away with it. Like
no.
It's giving that kind of like, young, spoiled rich kid that gets everything that he wants in life. And like,
so of course he gets the babysitter.
Exactly. And of course, like he gets this whole plan, like he gets to, whatever. I mean, so his whole plan, was it that it was supposed to be that he drugs her. So it's as if like she's wasn't looking after him properly, like she was passed out. Like, was that his initial plan?
So I think the original plan was to get drunk and seduce her, which she was never going to go for. Then the plan was for Garrett to home invasion style. He was then going to save her, and she was going to fall madly in love because damsel in distress. And because they've been reading the articles about like how horror gets girls in the mood, or I should say people, because that is actually a known statistic that like on a first date you should go see a horror film because it like gets your heart going basically. So they were like, oh well, we'll up it. And then I think when it started going wrong, they were like, well, we'll just drug her so that she doesn't remember all of this. And then obviously the more it progressed, the more he was like, well, I'm just gonna have to kill her.
It just like got to a point where it was like it just escalated so much.
And that was it. And then they were literally there like, how do we end this? Like Garrett was like, I just want this night to end, because he never expected it to get to that point. Olivia's obviously begging the same. I don't know what time the parents came home, but like this could have been over like 5 hours, and so much happened.
I imagine, because if it was like a Christmas party, then I would guess it'd be like midnight.
Because at one point she was on the phone to Ricky, and I think she said like, oh, maybe like 11ish. So I think she was expecting it not to be like an overnight or early morning.
No.
But it just, that whole truth dare bit really put me on the edge.
That whole bit was intense, because I think it was also the first scene that you see of Luke as kind of how he is throughout the rest of the film. Like you see what he is kind of capable of, and like the kind of person that he is. He isn't just this creepy kid with a crush. Like he is more than that. Like he's, well, like obviously he's not done anything, but no, it's still but like I guess at this point, actually, quote unquote only, but he's like well, actually, like he's got her tied up.
So the reasons I was like he's a straight up psychopath is because, one, as you say, like his ability to switch, and then like with the carol singers, how he's all like proper. The fact that he never thinks he's gonna get caught is such a psychopath trait. It's like how many psychopaths actually like sack their lawyers and just stand their own trials at court because they think they can.
Ted Bundy, we're looking at you.
But like it's like fucking loads of them do it, because again it's that mentality of nobody can do this better than I can. But also he killed the hamster.
Did you ever tell Garrett that you killed his hamster?
What? The answer is no next turn. You said LeBron escaped out of the hole in my screen.
He did. He was just dead first.
We find out he killed Garrett's hamster, and one of the like they always say that with like psychopaths, if they're gonna kill, it tends to start with like animals. So they were literally laying the groundwork that he actually is a psychopath.
Yeah, that's so true.
And he didn't even care, like killing them. He was enjoying it. He was dancing.
Yeah. And I guess like with the animal as well, it was like Garrett's hamster. And I think it's Ashley that's like, you cried when you told me that story. You obviously do have empathy. And he was like, I did it on purpose.
wasn't an accident.
And
Because
then
he
you
was
kind of
testing her.
know that like there was no redemption for this guy. Like he has psychopath written all over him.
Because that was it. Like, even at the end, you could see him just like, oh, casually getting ready for bed. Like, he so thought he got away with it. And then it was, you know, like he had the plan, like, I'll put the sound machine on. But obviously, it all went wrong when he forgot about the pencil.
Yeah.
But it was that, like, he was so convinced and he had a plan and followed the plan. But again, when it came out that like it was because his mum stopped hugging him,
Yeah.
I was like, are you fucking serious? Like,
Mummy issues?
yeah, much. Like, oh, it's just. Ugh.
Ugh.
And of course, it was slut shaming. I was going to call her, get her name wrong. Ashley. I was going to call her Olivia, which is the actress's name. Is Olivia
De Jong, I want to say.
Yeah, I'll look that up and put it in how to spell it properly. When he was like, "Oh, truthful dare, like how many people have you slept with?" And she was like, "None." But also, that's none of his fucking business.
Yeah.
None of his fucking business. He's 12, and then he's like assuming shit because
Mm.
he's heard rumors, and it's that whole, "Oh, but you'll sleep with them, and why not me?" And again, this is why I was like, I wonder if this is why they had to make it like a babysitter situation. Because if that had been, like I said, like college roommates, and he was like, "Well, you'll sleep with them, why not me?" I don't know if that's creepy. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would have lost the comedy element.
I think so. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
this is creepy for like more like a layer of reasons because
Yeah.
like it like he is just literally a 12-year-old and he is talking that way
Yeah.
and like asking her shit like that. And then also like being so interested in her, like so young and wanting to know all these things and like, oh yeah, everyone wants to fuck you and things like that. Like it's so gross. It kind of there is like a comedy element to it because they are so childlike in some of their ways, but then also it's horrific because of the way that they're talking as well. So I think it works really well as like a babysitter child kind of relationship because it is like kind of makes it scarier in a way.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think that because had they like had a different relationship, like you said, it would have been creepier, but for in a much darker way. I think because
Yeah.
he's 12, like as the audience, you're like, we can stop him. Like you in your head, you're like, I can stop a child.
Yeah.
Whereas had he been a 20-year-old man, it'd be like much harder to stop.
Mm.
Whereas like as a 12-year-old, you're like, you just need a fucking slap.
But I think as well, like it's scarier because he gets away with these things. Like he is successful in killing 3 people. Like
But that's the thing, you
he
keep
does manage to kill people.
Yeah, you keep expecting him to get stopped.
Mm.
And it is that where like, and at the end, you're like, how the fuck has he not been like how
Yeah.
he's 12, but then
He's 12.
Like, he had duct tape and drugs and guns. So
yeah, and that does make it creepier because it's like, yeah, like he has successfully like ended 3 lives in this film. Like he has done it. So that does make it scarier because also like throughout the film, it doesn't really seem there's nothing like, oh, that's ridiculous, that wouldn't happen. Like it all seems like don't say realistic, but they are ways in which, you know, he could kill someone.
And
like how they even incorporate Ricky's death in like a sort of, and they compare it to like a Home Alone trap. Like that's such a childlike quality.
And it's like where they've learned it from.
Exactly. And so combining that with like how that guy dies.
Yeah.
And it's like the real life Home Alone.
I think you're right, because it is that we literally see it escalate. And as you say, like it starts like duct tape. So, you know, you think you can talk your way out of it. That bit with the lipstick, I fucking saw that coming and I was just like, this is so disturbing. But it escalates as the film goes on. So it just start with a little bit of duct tape and then the gun, but the gun's not loaded. And then the paint, then the pencil, then the paint can. And then he's hanging a fucker from a tree on a fucking pulley system. And it's like, this has got, and he made him write his own suicide note. Like it's got so out of hand so quickly. But like, yeah, he's a master manipulator.
Yes. Yeah. And I think like the first death, so like when Ricky dies, that is the most shocking because it really changes the atmosphere. Like up until that whole point, it was like, you know, Ricky was kind of funny. He was like to Garrett, like, do you hang out with this guy? And like, you know, there was still some sort of funny elements in it. And don't get me wrong, like after this, there are also some, but I do think that's when the tone changes, when there's the first death.
Yeah.
you think, oh fuck, this is actually like a real like horror film. Like
Yeah.
there are actual deaths in this. It's not just one kid messing about. Like this is actually going to escalate into something
'Cause-
way darker.
No, I think you're right, because up until literally that last second, I think you're expecting the paint can to miss. Like you're expecting, because he like, yeah, there hasn't been a death yet. It hasn't got that bad. There's been
No.
an accidental cheat. But even when he got smacked with the baseball bat and there was blood,
Yeah.
he actually wasn't dead. Even when she fell down the stairs and it looked like she could have broken her neck, she wasn't dead.
Exactly.
So then all of a sudden you've got this explosion and you're like, hang on a fucking second.
Yeah. Yeah, hang on a
Yeah.
minute. Like this is really fucking escalating now. Like this is a
Yeah. And he's loving it.
thing. Yeah.
Like Garrett and Ashley are freaking out
Mm.
because now they're like, oh, cool, we're going to die.
Yeah.
But
I thought, like, as we were saying about Garrett previously, and we thought he was going to be like the main kind of antagonist of the film. What did you think about like his switch of character and how like he would kind of then go back to Luke and be like, no, he's my friend. Oh, and then he would have like a change of heart. Like as soon as Ricky dies, I feel like there is a huge switch with Garrett as well.
I think, yeah, even slightly before that, when he starts smoking the weed in the house,
Mm.
like in his head, he's like, this is getting out of control. And then, yeah, when there's the death, he's like, I'm fucked, I'm going to prison. I
Yeah.
like that because I think, again, at the beginning, Garrett's just a 12, 13-year-old talking about girls who might get some ass. And it's a typical teenage thing, isn't it, to exaggerate and be like, yeah, I
Yeah.
could get loads of girls. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're not
Yeah.
getting you're not getting
You can
loads
get
of
anyone.
girls. You're not getting the 18-year-old, 17-year-old. You're just not sharp. So I think it starts very kind of realistic, and then he's like in the mum's bathroom, like looking for, and he's just like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, this kid makes no sense. Then he's just trying to play a prank, and again, I think it's just that kind of stupid childishness where it's like, oh, it
Definitely.
went out of hand. So I think him then being like, well, I have to go back to Luke. Luke's my friend.
Yeah.
I think is so true, because you think at 13, did you, like, if somebody killed someone in front of you, would you know what to do? You'd be scared for your own life.
Yeah.
So I
you
think
would.
it's very realistic how he goes from this really arrogant, cocky teenager to really like gets put back down and scared and just a scared kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Very quickly, it just turns into
Yeah.
him just being a scared kid. But I do feel like after Jerry's death, like there is a bit of, he does have a bit of back and forth still, where he still has that loyalty to
Yeah.
Luke, but he obviously is like freaking out because someone has actually just died and it's completely
Yeah.
switched it up. But he does still cling on to that
Well,
loyalty a bit to Luke, or he's just scared of him.
I think a bit of, yeah, I think it's that where he's like, well, I can't switch sides now because
Yeah.
of what I can see now what he's capable of. It wasn't game before, now it's not.
Yeah.
I fucking loved Ricky as well.
I did too.
I made a comment the one time I want the pushy boyfriend to keep pushing, and then we find out that Luke texted him. So it's like, he's not even a pushy boyfriend. Like, he literally is just the boyfriend that got invited round.
Yeah.
So he's like, and then he's like, no, something's wrong. And then he pissed himself for her. If that's not love, what is?
That's the quote of the episode.
Like, it was literally that. He was like trying to save us and pissing himself, causing a distraction. But again, it was that
what a
where
legend.
he's got fucking blood upstairs, but he's like, oh no, there's piss on the floor. I have to clean it up before mum sees. Like, again, it's such an interesting character, this Luke kid. Like,
yeah, it's such a switch, isn't it? Like you kind of like think for about, I don't know, 20 minutes or whatever, you're just in a horror film, like there's this, there's that, and then you forget that he's this 12-year-old kid, and then something will remind you of it, like that line, or like something, and you'll be like, oh fuck, like this is actually who we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Like when he knocks I keep forgetting this guy's name, Ricky. When he knocks Ricky out and he does that weird little dance. Like I fucking loved that. But like, you know, that is such a I don't know, like a classic thing that happens in horror films, you know, if it's like a bit of a tongue-in-cheek film, like there's a bit of a dance or something, like, and you kind of you do almost like him at that point, because he is becoming like, well, you don't like him. That's maybe I don't think I liked him throughout the film, but I did like the little dance he did, because you just think, oh, you're such a little prick, mate, and you're selling this so well as an actor.
Yeah, he's a fucking good actor. And again, to do the switch between was really good. But as you say, yeah, it's
Fantastic
that just like cheeky, and you're there like, do I like this killer or not? Like, because again, at this point, we still think Ricky's a pushy arsehole,
Yeah.
but we also don't like Luke. So we're like,
Yeah,
and
what do
again,
we do here?
and we're like, he's only knocked him out. So again, we're like, okay. Because again, I think at this point, I still thought Ricky was going to help save the day.
Yeah, so did I. And it was pretty savage the way he dies.
Fucking brutal.
Yeah, the Home Alone.
Home Alone
vibe.
deaths apparently are lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did kind of like the fact with that death that you don't see it explicitly either. You just kind of see like the white paint and then the blood. And then like Luke says to Garrett later on that he looks like a hot dog.
Yeah, because it was
of,
like the
red in there.
red and the yellow with the mustard. Yeah, because when it was like blending, I was like, that's actually really fucking cool the way they've done that.
Yeah.
It was
I thought it was kind of more effective that you like less is more kind of thing, that you didn't
Yeah.
actually see like it as much as you would, you know, perhaps
think-
another horror film.
I don't think we ever did, because even when the carol singers are
No.
there and they show you it through the window, the paint can is still right in the way.
Yeah. And I quite like that
I
because
like
it's
that.
like, you
We
know, you're
know
not
what's
giving everything
happened.
away. We know what's happened. And like we said before on the podcast, like sometimes your imagination is worse than,
Yeah.
you know, like actually seeing anything. So
Mhm.
I thought it was actually quite good to like just leave it to the audience's imagination on as to like what's happened. And I think everyone's reactions as well like was enough. Like the fact that, you know, like Ashley just completely is just like
Just snaps.
yeah, and is just so shocked at like what she's just seen, and so is Garrett, whereas like Luke is like celebrating as
Yeah.
if like him just killing a guy has meant absolutely nothing to him.
Well, yeah, because he was more excited about the fact it worked.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah. And I think at that point is when Ashley's like, he actually will kill me. Because I think
Yeah,
that's the thing. She
yes.
was so like, I've known this kid for so long. He's not capable of that. And I think at that point
Definitely.
she was like, he's a killer.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, oh fuck, like he is actually capable of killing me now. Like this
Yeah.
isn't just a game.
No. Oh, it's fucking weird. Yeah, I did make a note of when she was tied in the chair, like she broke the bottle and Garrett like pulled her back up, and she was when she had the glass in hand. But there's a really cool camera angle of her like as she gets sat back up. I really liked that. Again, like how is this such a hidden treasure? Like it's fucking great. There's so much thought in this.
It is so good. And I think it's an Australian film, and I think all of the actors were Australian apart from Patrick Warburton and Virginia Madsen, sorry, who play the parents.
Yes.
Everyone else was Australian. So maybe it was just like a bit more of a sort of like lower budget film,
Yeah,
maybe swept
probably.
under the carpet a little bit. But I have heard of Olivia Dion, I think I want to say, before. Yeah, she's been in a few things that I've seen. But yeah, I just thought this was great. But I did hear some of their accents slip out every so often, the Australian accents. But
I was trying to place the accent actually at one point, and I couldn't, and that makes more sense. Because in my head I was thinking it was America. So I couldn't figure out where the accent was coming from.
yeah.
But there's other parts of the film I thought were really clever, because there's like the bit at the beginning, they're watching the horror film on TV, and Ashley character is getting annoyed. She's like, why would you go into the attic? That's just stupid.
Why would they go into the attic? It's so stupid.
And then later that becomes their only option, so they go into the attic. And I just thought that was really funny. And then there was a bit where Luke says something about like he's using duct tape, and then he's like, oh, lots of purposes for duct tape.
Oh, not again with the duct tape.
1,001 uses for duct tape.
And then she uses the duct tape to save herself at the end.
She put duct tape on to stop the bleeding. Smart girl. Saved her life.
And I was like, I just thought there were so many like good little tie-ins.
Yeah.
And like nods to it, not like the film was nodding to itself, and I thought that was really good. Like foreshadowing, but kind of in a cleverer way. So I did really like that. But yeah, I've only got a couple more notes, but I mean, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I did. And yeah, I did really like it. Yeah, I didn't even pick up on those foreshadowing things, but
it was only because she said the attic. I was like, Garen fucking T, they go in the attic later. And like it just clicked in my head that it was gonna happen. The other bit, did you notice my name in this?
No?
Oh my God. I obviously, again, it's my name, so I heard it. But as the parents are coming back from the party and Luke's like on the roof trying to get back in his room, the parents are coming in and then they say in the car, like Chantel and Dave were just like being really annoying. And like the dad's like, oh, they were just being cunts.
It wasn't even funny. And Chantel and Dave could not stop talking about how awful it was. I was so embarrassed.
Oh, dude, they're just being cunts.
They're what?
Which makes sense that this is an Australian film now that I know they can just
Yeah.
outright say cunts. And I literally wrote down Chantal and David just cunts. And I was like, yeah, we are.
I heard the cunts bit, but I guess I didn't pick up on the names, but that's so funny.
Because you never call
There
me
we
by my
go.
full name. So
Yeah, I always just call you a cunt, so
it's a term of endearment.
exactly. Wow, there we go.
So yeah, you go. I'm in the film. But also that whole like last bit where he's like at the window and they're like, oh, one of them survived, and she's swearing at him.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see what happened next because he was like, oh, we should go to the hospital. And like she needs to write his name down. Like, I want to know like
I
what happened
know.
next. I need to know.
I know, because it's like it's just her, it's like her word against his, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
like, will anyone believe that this 12-year-old boy is actually capable of doing this stuff? Like, is anyone actually going to believe her?
Like, how can you prove it as well? Because like there's a suicide note that's not in his handwriting.
Yeah.
That she also didn't witness, so she doesn't know how that came about. The texts have come from her. Oh no, he did call him on the home phone. But
Oh yeah.
again, like he did her Facebook status for her. He was so it's it is literally his word against hers. So unless like forensics can prove something,
Maybe, yeah. But I know what you mean. Like, you want to know, but I think I would be so frustrated because he'd probably just fucking get away with it.
yeah. Although saying that, she's got a shit ton of injuries. So like, who was he
Yeah.
blaming it on? What was he saying happened? Because he was just casually slept through it all.
Well, yeah. So was he blaming the guy that did the suicide note? Like that he killed them and then killed himself?
Maybe. Which also
Jeremy.
doesn't answer why Garrett would be there. Because like, if you're
No.
upstairs sleeping, why is your best mate downstairs hanging out with your babysitter and her boyfriend?
True.
Was he maybe he was blaming it on Jeremy, and then he was like, oh, but Jeremy felt so guilty he killed himself.
Yeah. Yeah, like a murder-suicide sort of thing. But
Yeah.
no, I don't really know what his plan was at the end. I think
Just to say he slept through, because I thought with the pencil not staying on the door, it was going to look like he slept walk and did it.
oh yeah.
And I was like, that's gonna I was like, he's gonna screw himself.
Interesting. Yeah, I would like actually quite like a sequel to this just to see
Yeah.
what happens.
Well, they're all a little bit older now because obviously it came out in 2016. So we could have grown-up Luke.
Yeah.
Like, did he get away with it? Is grown-up Luke now like a serial killer?
Yeah.
Is
Well, I
Ashley
guess-
still trying to bring him down? Like, I want to know.
Yeah, that would be cool. But at the same time, I also kind of like that we just don't know what happens. Like,
No.
it's sort of just a bit like, okay, she survived, so that's at least good. Are people going to believe her? Who knows? But
Surely they've got to, because she's the one with all the injury. She's going to have marks on her where she was tied up.
true.
But it is that. But like, is there any evidence? It is her word against his, isn't it? Because he's just going to say it was Jeremy. He's put drugs in her system to be like, oh, well, she's misremembering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't see it like being good news for Ashley. I feel like it won't. Yeah, it wouldn't go her way.
What was the comment? I don't actually know if it was Luke or Garrett, but like halfway through, they were like, do you know what they do to white boys in prison? And I was like, you're going to find out, Luke. Like,
yeah, you're going to find out, mate.
And again, such a teenage comment where it's like, of course you're not in juvie. You don't know. Like,
Yeah,
the fuck
you
are
don't
you
know,
getting?
like yeah, like so naive and so
Yeah.
young and like
Where are you getting your information? Like,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
What did you make of Garrett's death? Did you see it coming?
I think I did, because again in my head I was like, how is Luke going to get away with this with Garrett still alive? Because Garrett's guilty conscience is going to take over.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of had to die.
Yeah.
Um,
agree.
but I still think it was a bit like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think like it was gonna happen, but to me it was still kind of shocking because even though it's like a kid doing it himself, I
Still a
suppose
kid.
a lot of and a lot of horror films still don't, want to kill kids off like so obviously like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
It's
getting
getting
there.
more pop. Well,
It's getting more popular.
I mean, Pet Cemetery's been around a long time, but yeah, it's getting more popular to
True.
kill the kids.
But it seems to be it's sort of more of a taboo thing where they don't
yeah,
kind of do that. So I thought it was an interesting choice. But because it's the fact it's kind of like Lord of the Flies-esque, like kids killing
Yeah.
kids, it kind of
Dark.
seemed like really dark, yeah. And the fact that like it started off kind of almost lighthearted with Garrett,
yeah.
it was even more shocking, I think, that like suddenly he was just dead. And then just before saying like I want my mummy and stuff, like
Oh, my mom.
I think it
it
was a
really
real shame.
shows like he's how young he was.
Yeah, I think it is a real shame because he was just like a cocky kid. Like,
Yeah.
things got out of hand. He wasn't
Yeah.
behind it. He wasn't the planner, but he
No.
still ended up in the crossfire. And I think it was one of those where like you did feel bad, like you did feel sorry for him because you were
Yeah.
like you didn't deserve it, but there was no way for Luke to survive without it.
Yeah, it's
So I
true.
understand why they had to put it in the story, but again, he's just a kid. Like, but unless he'd like pledged loyalty to Luke forever,
Yeah,
Luke
that
wasn't going to let him
gonna
live. Like,
happen.
also because
And
Luke's not going to stop at this. Like, he will kill again.
definitely he's got a serial killer written all over him, like multi serial killer, like
And
yeah.
then they'll be like, oh, but he went through a traumatic event when he was like 12, 13. And be like, no, he was the traumatic event when he was 12. But
yeah, he caused that shit. Yeah, I don't know what it was because like you say, like it is kind of obvious that Garrett would die, but for me it was kind of like quite sad when he did.
Yeah,
because I think it starts off as kind of like a light-hearted film and then turns into what it turns into. And I think I don't know. It took me by surprise, but it didn't at the same time. Like I knew it was going to happen, but I was also like, oh no, this kid has just fucking died. Like this is mad.
Yeah. Well, because again, like it's that where it's like, oh, one of them survived, or this one's alive or something. Whether they shout at the end. And it is that. It's like, well, could it have been Garrett?
Yeah.
And I think it had to be Ashley. It had to be the final girl. She was, she was literally the opening scene.
Definitely.
But it could have been, Garrett could have survived as well, which I think would have been too much. I like the way they did it. But again, if you're like trying to think of this redemption arc for Garrett, they could have put it in there. I just think it would have cheapened the film a bit.
And also, I think like he did have a bit of a redemption arc anyway, even though he did die. Like he still did have a change of heart, and he was trying to untie Ashley, so he did kind of have that as well. So you didn't really need any more from Garrett.
No, and that's the thing. I think like so Ashley's going to survive.
Yeah.
When she tells the story, like she will tell Garrett's, that he was trying to help her, and he'll tell her parent. She'll tell his parents he was trying to help. He was trying to get them away. Whether she mentions he was involved in the beginning or not, but I think she'll be very clear that like Luke was the mastermind. Which is funny because again, like the mum at the beginning was like, "Oh, Garrett's a bad influence," and the whole time was like, "Your son's a psychopath."
Yeah,
like a literal killer, and you're worried about Garrett.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's that where she will tell a nice version of him. Doesn't mean he gets to live, but
yeah, no, yeah, that's true. That's true. I think with her surviving, it kind of does like him a favor as well. So that's good. But yeah, she definitely had to survive. She was such a good final girl. I just kind of like it from the beginning. She just called him out on his bullshit.
Yeah. It
like,
was like
even before like anything's revealed. It's just at the time like that he's just like this kind of timid guy that has a bit of a crush. And like even then she's calling him out.
Yeah. And it's everything he does. Like to be fair, at one point I was like, why are they sat so close together on the sofa? Like she knows he has a crush.
Yeah.
Like she kept trying to move away from him, like when I need to make a phone call. But like, why sit so close on the sofa? I know you're sharing a pizza, but you don't have to be like hip to hip, and then he had his hand on her head on her shoulder.
Yeah.
But like she removes his hand, and I
Yeah.
think she was trying to find that balance of like not hurting his feelings, but also shooting him down. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like the bit where she fell on him, and they were like laying on top of each other, I was like, that's. I know it was like a survival thing, but that's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And again, he's there like, oh, my dreams are coming true, and she's like, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
And I just
And
don't. Yeah.
Also, when she says, "Oh, if I was your age, I'd date you," like
Yeah,
that's
like-
kind of a strange thing to say.
I think it's a strange thing to say. I think she was trying to, you know, oh, you're a good guy, and
Yeah, she was trying to be nice, I think.
she was
But
trying to be nice, and then it's like, oh, my little buddy, because again, she's trying to like.
yeah,
And then I liked that she oh, you cracked me up, and then immediately on the phone said the same to Ricky.
You crack me up. Ricky, why can't you just leave me alone? Look, I'll be back in 1 second, okay? Hello? Oh, you crack me up.
yeah,
He was like, oh, that doesn't make me special. It's like, no, you're 12.
yeah, and like
You're
calling him
not-
kiddo and stuff.
Yeah, like you're literally the kid she's paid to hang out with. You're not
Yeah.
special.
No,
And that's really hard for like him to understand. But and that's the thing, like she obviously likes babysitting him, but that's it at the end of the day. Like she wouldn't hang out with a
Yeah.
12-year-old in her free time.
no, it literally is just babysitting.
She even says like it's like when he tries to kiss her, like it's so wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, like,
And, like,
really
he just-
calls him out.
He just doesn't see that because he's like, well, my parents are 5 years apart. It's like your parents are adults.
Yeah,
Like one of like they've both been through puberty. Like fucking stop it, child.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. My parents are 5 years apart. I'm 12. It's acceptable.
it's exactly.
No.
I'm nearly 13. No,
Yeah, stop, man.
like
Yeah, no.
because this is like I was gonna say, like, do you ever have a crush on a like babysitter or a teacher or something? But like you know that you don't cross that line, even if you have a crush, you're just like, no. They're a
Yeah, 'cause
grown-up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like when I was younger, like I would have crushes on like pop stars and things.
Yeah, it's probably a better
so then
example than real
in my
people
head-
our lives.
I think like in my head I'd be like, oh my God, if I met him, like he would fall in love with me. But like you don't,
You wouldn't.
so I
know.
do, there's a difference between kind of like acting on it
Mm.
and then whereas like going to sleep and thinking in your dreams like, oh, Gareth Gates is going to marry me one day. Which I definitely did think.
But again, like I think you'd always assume you were also an adult by that. But like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that where it's like
yeah,
he obviously just thought, like again, rich kid, psychopath, why can't I have what I want now?
yeah. Like you wanted Corey Taylor from, fucking
From
12 years.
12 years old till now. Like
Nothing's changed.
nothing's changed, something's won't change.
Except you're now of age. So
I'm now of
Corey,
age.
if you're listening.
I mean, he's a married man, but you know, I will. And this is the funny thing. If I ever meet Corey Taylor, I'm not going to be like, "Hey, I'm going to kiss you because I've been drinking, and that makes it acceptable." Like, I will be respectful. I'll probably be terrified and like shy and hiding. But
You probably want to make out with his wife.
I mean, she is a hot thing, isn't she?
Yeah. She's
Right.
banging.
Yeah. She seems lovely as well. She's, as I say, sorry, she's not just hot. She seems like she's got a really good personality.
Yeah, we're
Um,
such shit feminists.
I know. Like, sorry, I just went horribly wrong.
Merry Christmas.
Definitely been drinking. Doesn't make it okay though. But I think that's the thing. Like you can kind of put yourself in the kid's head, but you still know everything
Yes.
is wrong.
Yeah, for sure. And you're putting
Yeah.
yourself in the kid's head when you were a kid yourself. Like
Yeah,
there's no like, oh, if I was an adult, like this is, it's completely like this person is like a kid. And
Yeah.
that's just what makes it like way more horrific because
Yeah.
it's like you don't know what's coming next. And like
Yeah.
all this, it just fucking escalates.
It was funny because we were joking. I can't remember where it was, but we were joking about like somebody in the group had like an age gap relationship. Like not a massive one, like it's all perfectly above board.
Yeah.
But then someone else was like, oh, because I wouldn't mind an age gap. Like I'd love, like joking is like, oh, I could be the cougar. Like I wouldn't mind a younger guy. But I was like, because I've worked with kids, or like if you've babysat someone, that idea terrifies me. that like I could
Yes.
accidentally like bump into someone I've worked with, like one of the kids I've worked with, or their mate, and then you get introduced to the friendship group, and you're like, I used to work with that kid. Like I could never go younger because of like my job
Because of
history.
because of your job
Yeah.
history, you kind of like have worked with younger kids before, like you, yeah.
It's such an ick for me. And I literally
Yeah.
said that, and I was like, you're fine. I was like, I cannot risk it. It gives me such an ick. Like someone's a year younger than me, I'm like, I could have worked with you. Like,
Ew. Yeah.
maybe not a year, but it's just really funny. I'm like, no.
No.
But this is it. I'm like, so he's there, like, even if he was like, oh, when I'm an adult, he's still the kid she babysat for years.
Mm.
Like, it's still weird.
Exactly. Like it's not like, oh yeah, you
Mm.
know, just because they're of age now, like there is still that
Yeah.
relationship there, like regardless of, you know, how old they are now, something still that there's something that's like keeping you apart still.
Yeah.
Like, ew, I babysat you. That's gross.
And it's common decency is what to keep people apart. On her part, not his.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, do you think you would survive this film? Better watch
It's
out.
really difficult because it's like, I guess, would we survive Luke? And I
Would we
guess
survive
in part Garrett, because obviously he's kind of like the accomplice.
Mm.
It's really difficult because like you would think that you can overpower a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
But like when you're actually watching the film, you're like, no, I fucking couldn't. So I don't know about this kid. I feel like he's got it all planned out. I know like some things didn't go to plan, but like I think he's too conniving and vindictive to not get away with it. So, and like we said, even if I survived, would anyone necessarily believe me?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I don't think I would survive
Wow.
this guy. I'd like to think I would, but I think he's got too much planned out and he's too clever. Like his like confidence in everything like makes me like doubts me as like would like being able to survive that. I just don't know.
Yeah. It's
What do you
like
think?
like you say though, because it escalates slowly, it isn't just like, can I beat up a 12-year-old? It's you end up in a
Exactly.
situation you never thought it would get to.
Like I've said would survive some mad things before and I'm saying no to a 12-year-old. But if you watch the film, you would get what I mean. Like
yeah,
it's not as easy as that.
no. Like I'd want to say yes. Because she survives, because then I'm hoping that like
Yeah.
at the end I could duct tape, like I'd still have that fight in me.
Yeah.
Like just swear at him. Even if I die in the ambulance, I just want to stick a finger up at him.
Yeah.
So I'd want to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if I died, I wouldn't be surprised. like again, like you say, he's a scary fucking kid.
Yeah.
Although technically I am in this film because there is a Chantel. So actually I'm at the party drunk, so with Dave. I was trying to think, yes, but I also don't know what I would do differently to what she did. Because again,
Well,
it all happened so naturally. It's not like she made a wildly wrong decision.
no. Well, you're right, Tel. Like you were at the party with
Yeah,
Dave, so you
I
would
was
survive.
Are you Dave? Can you be with me? Like,
yeah, sure. Fuck it. We both survived. Yay.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Yay.
And what are you giving it spookies out of 5? And what's your favorite spooky moment?
I would say my favorite spooky moment is Garrett's death because even though like we were probably both expecting it, I still feel like it was kind of sad and also shocking at the same time. So I just thought it was really good. And I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 spookies. I thought it was really good. It will definitely be like a collection, like it will definitely be like a Christmas film that, you know, I'll try and watch every year now because I do think it is, along with like Krampus and Gremlins, like it is one of those, I think.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's an underrated banger and I think everyone should give it a go and watch it. I think it's really, really good. So yeah, 3 for me. What about you?
So sticking with the death theme, I think my spooky moment is gonna be Ricky's death. Because
Nice.
I think it was that you just kind of really hoped there was gonna be a last minute save. And that just, like you say, it changed the whole tone of the film. I just really liked it. I think I'm going to give it 3.5. I actually really enjoy it. I think that's the thing. Like, as it started, I thought it was going to be really cliche, really predictable. And even though I kind of like guessed bits, like there were definitely bits that threw me. And I really do think the acting was fucking phenomenal from like all of them. But you've got to give Luke a shout. I'm just trying to get his name correct. So Levi Miller.
So good.
So fucking good. Like
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure. Nice.
Amazing. Well, that was our Better Watch Out episode. Merry fucking Christmas. We will be carrying on in next week. So do check our socials to see what we're up to, what films coming next, and you can watch along and join in with the chaos. Until then, bye.
Merry Christmas.
We should be back before New Year, but if not, have a good New Year.
Happy New Year.
Be drunk, be merry, or don't be drunk if that's your thing. If your family are being assholes, ignore them and turn us on, turn us up. Or if your family are lovely, hang out with them too.
And then, but then still listen to us.
And then still listen to us.
Yes. And we'll be back in 2025, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't
I nearly forgot about that bit.
We're getting worse again.
Oh no.